What's up guys, it's Sunday, which means it is tournament day. Now, it's not even 9 o'clock in the morning yet, and look at this weather. It is beautiful, it's sunny, still got a little bit of a chill to the wind, but it's nice. And we, of course, are representing the MPEC hoodies today. As at request of David, he's asked if we can wear them. We're wearing them. It's going to be a good day. Now, as far as deck choices go, Chimera's just not cooking. Now, I've been on the Chimera Azamina Fiendsmith lineup, and honestly, it's turned into this massive pile combo deck. And 2 hand traps at the right spots just makes you pass on a sequence and just a random body. I think like it's a tough one. Like in a heavy hand trap format, combo decks are never going to do that well, but that's not what the essence of Chimera is. Chimera initially was like a mid-range, more control deck, in all honesty. If you think about it, it was there to like rip a card out of your opponent's hand. It was there to put the Mirror Sword in the Kotal Engrave. You know, your illusions can't be destroyed by battle, and then you get out the 3100 OTK machine and off you go. And that version of the deck is fun. This version of the deck, not so much. However, we have had reports and news come out that in the set coming out in June, the Orcust cards are coming. Now, Orcust cards are getting pre-released with like their own signature stamp on them, but I'm hoping that that's also the set where the new Link monster is being released, the Link 1, because that's what we're missing to make Orcust an actual meta threat. So it's literally the first weekend of March, so we've got March, April, May, 3 months until that set drops. I want to bring different stuff to the channel rather than just Chimera. So as such, we're going to put casual to competitive on hold until June. This is going to be a brand new series of taking just random fun decks, going in there, playing more on the casual side, but with this still purpose to learn. Because at the end of the day, the casual to competitive series in essence is for me to learn. So with that in mind, I have built most probably one of my jankiest decks to date, which is Invoked Kashtira Dogmatica. Yeah, it's had several games of testing yesterday against Corey on his Sword Soul deck. Sword Soul is a very good introductory deck to the game, I think, and I was winning as much as I was losing, but it did always come down to the hands at the end there. I suppose that's the same with any deck, but one thing's for sure, it was definitely fun to play with. So yeah, I'm going to take that this week. If you want to see the deck profile, you'll have to check that out on TikTok. And it is quite a spicy deck profile, I'm not going to lie to you. But now I'm going to go in, I'm going to make a coffee, an iced coffee, because I love iced coffee. And my partner, Emily, is going to make us some breakfast. She's going to make pancakes like she does every Sunday morning. So we're going to go in and enjoy some pancakes and nice coffee and get ready and then head down to Geek Retreat Catering. So I will see you guys there. Peace out. See you soon. Okay, so round 1 we got paired up against Brendan on his Memento Goblin biker deck. I think the synergy there is obviously one of the Mementos is a Goblin. So therefore the Goblin biker search spells can help turbo out some of the Memento stuff as well, which is pretty cool. Now obviously I didn't expect to do too well this week at all based on the deck we chose to take, which is of course that Invoked Dogmatica Kashtira deck. Now we're not running any Kashtira extra deck monsters, they're just there to kind of be a nuisance on the field and to use as link material as and when needed. And yeah, I chucked this deck together Friday morning, and game 1 it did exactly what I expected. It did very minimal. I set up a little bit of a board, more than I expected, but Brendan was able to OTK us through the board. Now, game 2 was a bit different. We chose to go first again, and we set up Mechabur with Ecclesia Searching Punishment, which we set along with an Imperm and a Super Poly. We also had an Ash Blossom in hand and the Alistair the Invoker, which we added back. All of this advantage with that interruption of the Super Poly, Imperm and the Punishment was just too much, and Brendan couldn't break through that board and was able to then clean it up a couple of turns later. Now, game 3, we did take the reverse sweep, so we did win this one 2-1. However, it does come with a bit of a caveat. Oh, sorry, my phone nearly fell. Now, Brendan was under draw, which we both did forget about. However, Brendan then initially activated his Triple Tactics Thrust to add talents, but because he was under draw, he couldn't actually add the talents. He had to set it to his side of the field, which then means that it can't be activated that turn, so he didn't get the draw 2, which he would have needed to keep extending. As such, he kind of had to pass on a very suboptimal board, and with one of his back rows being the talents, which we knew wasn't a threat, we were able to break that board quite easily and take the game. Now, normally here is where I'll show you some gameplay, but I'm trying to do things a little different this week, and I'm going to show you a full game instead of just clippets of games as we go. So game 2, I didn't actually record game 2. I'm trying something different as well, where I am setting up feature matches, and game 2 I opted for the feature match where we filmed Corey versus James, which will go up as its own separate video. Now, game 2, we got paired up against David. He requested us to wear the MPEC hoodies, we wore them, and we beat him while wearing them. But honestly, it had to be, I think, the most fun Yu-Gi-Oh game I've ever had. Not just recently, not just this format, but I mean in general. Like, it was so much fun. He was on a rank 8 turbo deck, kind of like the old school Grand Manju deck, but without the Grand Manju or Castle. It was like the Horus engine with Kaijus. I didn't see any dangers, so I think it may have just been Horus Kaijus with a little Kashtira package in there as well. And it was so back and forth. Honestly, we had 20 seconds left on the clock when I finally took down game 3. And again, we went to game 3. None of these games were 2-0s at all. We literally took every game 2-1 or lost 2-1. But yeah, so we took that one down from David, and it was great. Then we moved into the break. At the point of the break, only me and one other person were undefeated with a 2-0 record, because Joe and Aaron had drew. So they were 1 win, 1 draw. Whereas me and my son Corey were both 2 wins, 0 losses. So we knew game 3, it was going to be father versus son. And so let's see how that goes. So round 3, we won the dice roll again. Winning quite a few dice rolls today, which is always nice, really does help us out. We won this dice roll and we won that round 1's dice roll. Because we had no monsters on the field, we were able to go ahead and summon Fenrir straight to the field. From here though, we chose to activate Magical Meltdown to add Alistair before we added another Kashtira monster off the Fenrir effect. The reason behind that for me was, if I get drolled, I'd rather have the Alistair added than the second Kashtira monster, which I can't summon to the field. And I kind of called that right, because we got drolled. So yeah, that was always fun. Now, we summoned the Alistair and we linked it off into Artemis. I then put both monsters into SP and completely forgot we were under draw at that point, because I went ahead and summoned the Ecclesia, and my hope there was to add Maximus, banish the Artemis from grave, and start ripping cards out of his extra deck. But because we was under draw, we special summoned that Ecclesia and had to pass. Now that was such a weak board, having just the SP and an Ecclesia. Corey on his Sword Soul Tenny deck was very easily able to rip that apart. Moving into game 2, Corey starts off and he does the full 10 breakdown. He goes into the full 10 lineup. He absolutely sets up a board which is just uncrackable for us. We can't break it, and he takes that game down. Now, after that though, we sided in Nibiru's for game 3, and we opened all 3. When the fuck does that happen? So we opened, our opening hand for game 3 was 3 Nibiru's, Alistair the Invoker and Kashtira Fenrir. I waited for Corey to go pretty much full Sword Soul combo, but yeah, to a point where I knew he'd used his 10 effects so he couldn't recur those, and several other of his monsters before I dropped the rock. Now that did put an end to his turn, but it was a fucking big rock. So the only thing I could do realistically from there was normal summon the Alistair, add the invocation which went through, and then we linked off the Alistair into the Artemis, and then put the Artemis and the Nibiru into SP, banishing the token, and then activated the invocation to get Mechaba. Now from this, and with 1 or 2 hand traps I believe I had at the time, we was able to put Corey in a simplified game state and into a top deck situation. And Sword Soul suffers a lot like Chimera does, where in a top deck situation it doesn't do well because a lot of your cards are 1.5 card combos, meaning that you've either got to reveal a card or discard a card, and when you only have one, it doesn't do all that much. So as such, we were able to clinch it down and take game 3 thanks to Nibiru. And yeah, we're moving into the last round undefeated, 3-0. Both Joe and Aaron won their round 3 matches, meaning that they're both 2 wins and a draw. So I know I'm going up against one of them. Now Aaron is on full Raziel and Joe is on White Forest Azamina, both of which, I'll be honest, I didn't expect to beat Sword Soul or the other 2 games I had. So it was just very, very interesting for me. And to get into this point undefeated with such a low to the ground deck makes me really reconsider the play style of decks I play. I definitely seem to have played this style of deck a lot better than the heavier combo versions of Chimera, Fiendsmith, Azamina that I've currently been running. But definitely something to think about. But with that in mind, I'm going to show you the full game of me versus Joe, because that's who we got paired against. White Forest Azamina versus Invoked Kashtira Dogmatica. I'm not going to do a voiceover on this one. Like I said, I'm trying something new. This one's just going to be sped up a little bit with some music, so enjoy, and I will see you after the game. So there we have it. I lost. I panicked game 1 when I saw the engraver, and I bestialed it straight away, making those 2 imperms in hand absolutely fucking useless. There was absolutely no need for me to have bestialed the engraver at that stage. I could have waited for the engraver to activate its effect, shuffle something back, and then hit it, or even allowed it to hit the field and then just imperm the DDD guy, because if he was going into sequence to make Desiree, I could just imperm that. But yeah, like I said, complete and utterly fucking panicked like a melt. I think the pressure of like, oh my god, I could win locals, I could go undefeated, kind of got to my head a little bit and made me make some stupid mistakes. But we live and we learn, and we ended up going 3-1 as you saw, and I pulled it back. I was able to take game 2 thanks to access code, and then game 3, even though Joe won, I like to think I did better than I did game 1. So yeah, so we ended up 3rd. So we top locals. Anything 4 and up is topping your locals. So yeah, we top locals with Invoked Kashtira Dogmatica, and it was a really, really fun deck. It's not saying I expected to do well, but I guess between it being such a low to the ground deck, it not really summoning more than 4 times unless you're going really heavy on the combo. You can like play under nib quite successfully. But yeah, so if you're interested in deck profile to play this yourself at any point, it's over on my TikTok, which is Mystic Frost 86. Please check that out. I've also done some tutorial videos on how to do the extra deck summoning mechanics of like a How to Learn Yu-Gi-Oh series, and I'm going to post shorter videos over there. So if you're interested in that, including some gameplay from locals, which you haven't seen in this video, will be uploaded there as well throughout the week. As for next week, we've got an interesting decision to make. So I've currently borrowed my son's Sword Soul deck and made a few tweaks to it to make it more our own. But I've just had a very interesting offer of borrowing a full powered Raziel deck. That, don't know. Let me know. Do you want to see the more casual fun decks like Sword Soul and like what I played today, or do you want to see me go full competitive and see what we can do with a full power deck? Let me know in the comments. But either way, I will see you next week. Until then, peace and love. Okay, so we've just had dinner and now I'm setting up to record this week's vlog from Sunday. I'm fully aware it's Wednesday, but time you get home on Sunday you don't really want to do much else, and then it takes a couple of days to write the script. So that's Monday and Tuesday, and then today I sit down and record, so that's what I'm doing, and then create the thumbnail so the vlog can go live tomorrow, as it does most weeks. So I hope you've enjoyed this weird look into my life a little bit. I don't know if I'll post more of these or not, but definitely interesting. For example, tomorrow evening I will be doing a lot of my eBay stuff. So the cards I've currently got listed, I will double check the pricing, make sure they're still priced correctly, and that little black folder you can see in the background still has a lot of cards in it that I need to price up, take photos and list. So I might show my process on that if that's something that you'd be interested in. But yeah, let me know. And if there's any other form of content you're interested in seeing, please let me know. And like I said, the vlog's going live, so check that out over on my YouTube, Mystic Frost 86. Peace.